Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there lived a princess named Lily. Now, Princess Lily wasn't your typical princess. She didn't like wearing tiaras or fancy gowns, and she wasn't too interested in tea parties. What she loved more than anything was going on adventures. But there was one big problem. Her kingdom was surrounded by high walls, and her parents, the king and queen, wouldn't let her leave the palace. They always said it was too dangerous outside. Too dangerous? Lily thought that sounded like an invitation for something exciting. So, one night, while the moon was high in the sky and everyone in the palace was asleep, Lily decided she was going to explore the world beyond the walls. With her backpack full of snacks and a map she didn't know how to read, she sneaked out of the palace and tiptoed her way to the forest. The forest was quiet, a little too quiet. The trees were tall and mysterious, casting long shadows over the path. Lily wasn't scared, though, or at least that's what she kept telling herself. She wandered deeper into the woods until suddenly she heard a strange noise. It was like a tiny roar, but more like a squeaky toy that's been stepped on. She followed the sound and found something she never expected to see. A small, chubby dragon with bright purple scales, tangled up in a bunch of vines. "Help! I'm stuck!" the dragon squeaked. Lily blinked. "A dragon?" she exclaimed, not believing her eyes. "Yes, a dragon! Do I look like a squirrel to you?" The dragon huffed, blowing out a tiny puff of smoke. "Now, can you please help me out? These vines are tighter than Aunt Griselda's hugs." Lily couldn't help but giggle. She carefully untangled the dragon from the vines, and once he was free, he did a little dance of joy. "Thanks, Princess," the dragon said, bouncing around happily. "How do you know I'm a princess?" Lily asked, a little surprised. "Well, you've got that princessy look," the dragon replied. "Also, there's a picture of you on the front of every cereal box in the kingdom." Lily rolled her eyes. "Of course there is. What's your name?" "I'm Puff," the dragon said proudly. "And before you ask, yes, I can breathe fire, but only a little. I'm still working on it." Lily grinned. "I'm Princess Lily, but you can just call me Lily." "Well, Lily," Puff said, looking around nervously, "you might want to get out of this forest. It's not safe here." "Not safe?" Lily asked, her eyes lighting up. "That sounds like fun." Puff stared at her in disbelief. "Fun? Are you out of your mind? There are wild animals, enchanted creatures, and worst of all, goblins." "Goblins?" Lily asked, her voice dripping with excitement. "Where?" "No, we're not looking for goblins," Puff said, his voice shaking a little. "We're avoiding them. Come on, I'll take you somewhere safe." Lily sighed, a little disappointed but curious to see where Puff would take her. They walked through the forest together, Puff nervously checking behind every tree, while Lily enjoyed the adventure, kicking rocks and humming songs to herself. After a while, they arrived at a hidden cave, tucked away behind a waterfall. Inside, there were shiny treasures piled everywhere. Gold coins, sparkling jewels, and were those rubber ducks? "Welcome to my humble abode," Puff said, puffing out his chest proudly. "It's not much, but it's home. And the ducks? Long story." Lily looked around, amazed by the treasure. "You live here?" "Yep, and I've got the best cave on this side of the kingdom," Puff boasted. "No one ever bothers me here. Well, except for the occasional goblin, but they're more interested in my shiny spoons than anything else." Lily raised an eyebrow. "Spoons? Don't ask," Puff muttered, looking embarrassed. "Anyway, you should stay here. It's safe, and no one will find you." "But I didn't leave the palace just to hide in a cave," Lily said, sitting down on a pile of gold coins. "I want an adventure. Something thrilling, exciting, and maybe a little dangerous." Puff's eyes widened. "Dangerous? You're talking to a dragon who gets scared of his own reflection in the water. Lily laughed. Come on, Puff. You've got fire in your belly, literally. We could go on adventures together. Adventures? Puff echoed, his voice shaking. Like outside this cave? With goblins and spiders? Lily nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. And who knows? We might even find my lost kingdom. Lost kingdom? Puff asked, looking confused. What do you mean? Yup. And I bet they'd build a giant statue of you right in the middle of the kingdom, Lily added. Puff's eyes lit up. A statue of me? Lily nodded. With wings and fire and everything? Puff puffed up his chest. All right. Let's do this. But if we run into goblins, you're dealing with them. Deal, Lily said, grinning. And so, the two unlikely friends set off on their adventure. They traveled through enchanted forests, crossed crystal-clear rivers, and climbed tall mountains. Along the way, they met all sorts of magical creatures, friendly talking trees, a grumpy old wizard who had lost his hat, and even a family of dancing squirrels. Each day brought a new challenge, but Puff quickly realized that he was braver than he thought. When a group of mischievous goblins tried to steal their food, Puff let out a tiny puff of fire and scared them away. "Take that, goblins!" he shouted, doing a little victory dance. Lily couldn't stop laughing. "I told you, you're a hero!" Puff grinned. "I guess I am, aren't I?" After many days of travel, they finally arrived at a mysterious, forgotten castle deep in the mountains. The air around the castle felt heavy, like something ancient and magical was watching them. "This is it," Lily whispered. "The Lost Kingdom." Puff gulped. "And you're sure we have to go in there?" "Absolutely," Lily said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. They entered the castle, and inside, they found a giant glowing heart made of crystal. It pulsed with light, casting rainbows across the walls. But standing in front of it was the evil sorcerer who had cursed the kingdom. "I've been expecting you," the sorcerer said, his voice echoing through the castle. "You'll never break the curse." "Oh yeah?" Lily said, stepping forward. "Watch me!" Before the sorcerer could react, Puff let out the biggest puff of fire he'd ever breathed. It wasn't much, but it was enough to make the sorcerer stumble back, tripping over his own robe and falling into a pile of enchanted jelly beans. Lily rushed to the heart and touched it. Suddenly, the entire castle lit up, and the curse was broken. The Lost Kingdom was restored to its former glory, and Lily's parents were waiting for her with open arms. "You did it!" Puff cheered, doing another little dance. Lily smiled. "We did it, Puff, together!" And just like that, the kingdom was saved, the curse was lifted, and the statue of Puff the brave dragon stood proudly in the middle of the royal garden. And from that day on, Lily and Puff went on many more adventures, always ready for the next big challenge, even if it involved a few goblins. The end.